Hey everybody, how you all doing? I'm Super Paul Games. Welcome back to the adventures of Anton Rain and Suzerain. Sadly, we have a -2 budget. Yeah, half of that is my fault because I went one monies into debt, spending money on the new port we're working on because I thought that'd be a good investment. The other one is because of wild, fluctuating energy prices that are not helping us try and pull out of this recession. What do we got here? Central Bank Reinforcement Act. Is it going to cost us money? Yeah, we're not going to do it. Essentially, it looks like we would bolster the central bank by giving them money to buy foreign currencies to hold, to manipulate the price of our currency, and to try and help certain industries over others. Not a big fan of central banks by and large, and we don't have the money. We're not going 3 into debt, so that's a veto. Nope. Somebody is going to complain about it in the news. The Economist? Lockhaven Times? The Lockhaven Times. An op-ed. A step towards economic freedom. The Ventry City Free Trade Committee lauds President Anton Rain's decision to veto the Central Bank Reinforcement Act. I can't believe we get good press for something. They argue the bill, with its emphasis on government regulation and control, could have hampered economic growth and stifled free trade. The veto symbolizes a commitment to a market-oriented economy, encouraging foreign investment and promoting healthy competition. At a time when economic adaptability and dynamism are needed, this decision sends a clear signal of Swordland's commitment to the principles of free market capitalism. Article paid for by the Ventry City Free Trade Committee. Yeah, the last thing we need... Look, if we have a central bank that is interfering with the economy, that's going to totally serve the oligarchs. The oligarchs are part of, not all the reason, part of the reason our economy sucks. In fact, that's one of the reasons why our anti-corruption unit is going after Tusk and the oligarchs right now. What we got here? Budget allocation of healthcare. I don't want to do this meeting because I think it'll be boring, but it might not be boring because we have the beginnings of what may be a polio epidemic. If I remember correctly, we've diagnosed like 23 cases of polio in Bergia. Whether or not it's come up here from Wayland with refugees or some other reason, I don't know. I was having my afternoon tea in the State House office in Dyer and going through newspapers. One of the headlines piqued my interest. It read, Polio Crisis in Wayland. Before I could start reading, I heard a couple of knocks. Pascal entered, followed by Lucien. Mr. President, it's time for the scheduled healthcare meeting. So I'm here, Lucien. How you doing, man?
Good afternoon.
Please take your seats, gentlemen. They have taken their seats, and Pascal produced documents from his suitcase. He put them on the table. Pascal looked at the newspaper I was reading.
Very, very troubling news from Wayland, Mr. President. I have just returned from a meeting with our top scientists on the matter of polio. It seems to be spreading.
Well, yes, it could have dire consequences, but what are we doing to prepare?
We have notified all of our healthcare staff, especially the ones closer to the Wayland border. Unfortunately, these are also the more rural areas where we lack equipment and staff. What I was told by our researchers was that with the current infection rate, there will soon be millions of people affected by polio.
This is awful, and I don't know that there's much we can do unless we can maybe just quarantine people, but I don't know how effective that's going to be.
We need to be ready for any possibility.
I doubt it's that serious yet. Regardless, back to the topic, Mr. Benowall. Pascal put on his reading glasses and went through the documents. He didn't say anything for a whole minute. Mr. Benowall?
Yes, of course. Let's start.
He put the papers down, cleared his throat, and looked at me.
In general, the ministry is somewhat content with the budget decision that was made. At least we didn't get a cut. But I'm still happy that the administration continues to support healthcare at the same level as before, though this limits our options significantly.
I'm not going to be defensive and be like, it wasn't a decision I made lightly. I'm just going to have to call a spade a spade. We will have to make do with what we have. I want you to lead the way to solutions in healthcare, Mr. Benowall.
I don't see many ways out of this particular situation. We need funds to bring improvements. As you know, I've been preparing a new privatization program that would create funds through the selling of unused ministry property and some extra taxes.
It might not go against our strategy to promote a market economy, but I'm personally against privatization of government services. Such vital services must be under state control. Aside from creating additional funds, there is a long-term problem with privatization in a country like Swordland. What are those problems then, Lucian? You have my ear. People are already lacking proper health care, even though it is free. What happens when you privatize? Prices increase as state hospitals close due to sales.
We'll prevent the worst-case scenarios. There needs to be healthy structural improvements in this sector.
This is not Arcasia or Lesbia. You're talking about Swordland, in which healthcare is free, for now at least. We have people who have their lives depending on a service that is free to them. Messing with that structure will definitely hurt us politically in the future. That I know for sure. But the choice is yours, Mr. President. Why can't we have both? You know, Japan, the United Kingdom. There are plenty of countries that have both. You can use the public system or private system if you want to pay for it. Okay, so we have two choices. Number one is we can promote privatization. I don't have a problem with that in theory, and allow the private sector to invest and buy government health properties. I don't like the second part of that. I don't want to get rid of services we already have and turn that over to the private sector. If the private sector takes that business away from us because they offer a better model, I'm totally okay with that. What I really wish is there was an in-between. Why don't we just open up privatization for those who want to use it, and then leave what we have for everybody else? You know what, Lucian, you've not steered me wrong before, and you're probably right. If people lose their health care because of a decision we make, that will have major negative ramifications, and I don't want anyone to lose their health care. We'll keep health care in state control. Don't allow any private involvement that could endanger core health services. But any other private involvement is fine.
As you wish. The health services shall remain in public hands.
Good choice.
Well, that wraps up our discussion for now.
Very well. Fruitful meeting, nevertheless. Nice and short. That's what I like too, Lucian. Thank you for the meeting, gentlemen. Pascal gathered his documents and left along with Lucian. Wow, I wish every meeting was that easy. That was great. Uh-oh, updates. News. Thousands protest the new governor of Helgeland. Thousands in Helgeport took to the streets to protest the Ignolian government's increasing control over Helgeland's administration following the appointment of a new governor. Demonstrators protested the Ignolian government's decision to appoint a governor from the Ignolian mainland without holding any local elections on the island. I hope we don't regret having allied with Ignolia. Volgsland leader Chancellor Hergel was quick to condemn the decision. He bitches about everything. Majority of the residents of the island still claim Volg heritage or have Volgslandian ancestry. Experts say the increasing tensions between Ignolia and Volgsland prompted the Ignolian authorities to make the decision with an aim to control or increase their control over the island. And what do we got going on in welfare? Traditional education? We did it. What? Why did that come up? That's not new. The government of Swordland has a traditional education system which has been characterized by the promotion of a nationalistic identity and limited intellectual freedom. Don't you get too smart, you little dumb co-ops. Maybe something is going to come up with that later on, because we didn't do anything recently about education. Failed education reform. Sierra, you failed? The implementation of half-baked measures by the Ministry of Education has failed, causing disruption in education systems due to the lack of funds. The education system plays a critical... Okay. Well... Sierra, you failed me. Great. Soulist education. People continue to get educations that are very pro-Tarkin Soul. Sierra, you suck. You can't do anything right. You had one job. You said you were going to limit that stuff, and you failed miserably. I didn't read that whole thing, but it's something about talks with Franz Richter. So, we're trying to get the new Constitution through, and to get it to be seen before Congress, like, as official business, we need 150 signatures. If I remember correctly, as of the last count, we have 121. We desperately need 29 more. I don't know where we're going to get them. We're trying to cobble together this weird alliance of the reformists of our party and the PIFJA party and trying to get some moderates through. So right now it looks like we're going to meet with Franz Richter, who is the head of the PIFJA party. The preparations for the new constitution were nearly complete. Soon we were going to propose it in the Grand National Assembly. A huge step for our administration. But we desperately needed more support. Ain't that a fact? That's why I invited Franz Richter for a chat about the upcoming vote. He and his party held the key to our success. They already said they're going to support it. Why are we doing this? We met in the presidential office at the end of the day. He arrived in his signature navy blue suit and handed me a box of famous Arcasian chocolates before settling down on the couch. It's good to have you here. Wait, no, thank you for the gift. Let's be polite. Thank you for the gift, Mr. Richter.
Oh, it's nothing, Mr. Rain.
He took a folder from his briefcase and flipped it open. I could see the scribbles he'd made in the margins of my draft proposal.
I have to say, I am surprised by this proposal you've prepared for the new Constitution. I do not really understand your reasoning behind some of the changes.
Shut up, Richter. I'm giving you things you want nobody else is going to. Help me get more signatures. I thought we were on the same page.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I like your draft, as I've already stated. I'm just shocked you listened to our demands. Decreasing the electoral threshold? Oh, and the term limits? That's more than we hoped for. How does the USP feel about that, Mr. President? Is this political suicide? Or did you actually manage to get the party behind your changes?
I don't know what to say. I can tell him the party listens to what I say. I don't know if that's true. I can say the USP is in agreement. But I don't know if that's true. I'm going to ask him a question because I'm honestly curious. Why would you care if this was political suicide for me?
I cannot afford to support another set of failed reforms. I am the opposition leader, after all, Mr. President. People expect me to be hard against you.
Better than hard on me, eh?
That is gross.
I thought it was fun.
I've been campaigning for a new constitution for years, and I cannot just let it vanish because of Tarkin Soul's party again. No offense intended.
You better not be pushing me to raise the election threshold. Like, I am fighting for this for everyone.
Are you aware the old guard has been reaching out to PIFJA members? I hope you're doing something to contain this mess.
Why would I be responsible for controlling members of your party? You're the opposition party. That's your fucking rodeo to wrangle. So you're saying your party can be bought, Mr. Richter?
Wait, no. I'm saying that the circumstances must be stacked against you without your knowledge. That's it. But even if the change passes in the Assembly, how are you going to get such an anti-Solis proposal past the Supreme Court?
The crowd? Oh my... Let's see, I could tell him I have connections on the inside, which is true. I could tell him that the justices care more about money than anything else. Not that I have any personal money to have. No matter what happens, Anton's going to be poor. He came into office poor, the family of farmers. That's probably how he's going to leave if he lives. I could say if we unite together, we can force them to support us. Let's do that. If we unite together, they'll be forced to support us.
I'm not so sure about that. A few justices will sympathize with us, but the ultimate decision will be up to the centrists, and Orso has them locked up.
Does he?
If we're doing this, we have to make it count.
I hope that you will succeed, Mr. Rain. I respect what you're doing inside the USP. I will do my best to flip the Supreme Court as well. You can count on the PIFJA vote.
Yeah, I thought so. That's great. Yeah, if you can put pressure on the court members to support it.
I just want your promise that you will give us proper credit and finally do something about the unbalanced representation of our party on state television.
I can't do anything about that. I have no control over TV. That's dipshit McFuckery, whatever his name was.
For decades, your party has been doing whatever it could to stay in power, while keeping the PIF just silent. If we were to be on the same side...
Franz Richter, you are the dumbest motherfucker I ever met, or the boldest. I'm giving you almost everything you want in this Constitution, because I want it too, don't tell them. And now you want more?
I expect you to finally acknowledge all the wrongs that have been done and act against the soulless state apparatus in full force.
Dude, we need some of those soulless to vote for this damn Constitution, I think. I'm taking the middle ground. I can say, yes, we're in this together. I don't think he's got any other fucking choice, right? I don't think he has any other choice. If this Constitution fails, he's not going to get another shot at this for a long time. And I'm not going to be like, don't blame my party. Yeah, our party did some shit things in the past. Of course, I can't deny my party's disreputable actions. I'm going to pick the middle ground and use the truth still.
I respect your honesty, Mr. President. I hope I can rely on you in the upcoming vote. We expect the USP to rally behind your proposal.
Yeah, I hope that happens too.
I can assure you, you have PIFJA's full support.
I'm not going to say the USP isn't going to be a problem, because it's still a major problem. But I am happy to cooperate with you, Mr. Richter. Any of your members that have not already signed the signature sheet that Lucien has, please get them to sign it, like, immediately. But I'm looking forward to cooperating with you.
Likewise, Mr. Rain. Was there anything else?
I could say, before you leave, I'd like to address a few things I've heard about you. We're not going to do that, right? We already have reason to believe that the things that have been said about him having backdoor deals and lying about where he is old guard propaganda. Nia has already seemed to confirm that with her anti-corruption stuff, or maybe it was Carl that did. So no, Mr. Richter, thank you for coming. I'm looking forward to our cooperation. Have a good day. We shook hands.
It's nice to have a president that we can finally have a dialogue with.
He laughed. Ha ha ha!
I'll see you in the history books. Have a nice evening, for now.
See ya, Richter. Please sign my paper. He left the room. Do we have any more? We got some news about the PIFJA conference. Let's see that. At yesterday's party conference of the PIFJA, Franz Richter announced that he'll be giving his full support to the constitutional changes proposed by the USP. He asked the members of his party to follow him in this endeavor and set aside their differences for the greater good of the country. Let's just hope none of them have signed the paper yet. Because if not, he's got a fair amount of followers in Congress, if we can look that up a moment. His party is the Light Blue Party here. They've got 70 members. I think most of them have probably already signed, but if they haven't, that'd be more than enough to get it on the docket for the Grand National Assembly to consider. Either way, I think that's going to be the end of this episode. 2 easy meetings. Hopefully the polio thing doesn't get a lot worse. It might. I don't think it's going to get better. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.